before our eyes. If you want to understand those years after the Russian Revolution, just look at what's going on in Nicaragua. Invasion, either by directing the troops from their own country, or by using surrogate troops, and they use the white armies and the white generals, the white guard armies. Embargoes, isolation, withholding food supply, sabotage, encirclement, refusing diplomatic recognition. These are the methods that are used, and these are the methods, time-honored methods, that are being used right now by Reagan against another revolutionary government, which is Nicaragua. That process, water has ice cubes in that flow right down your throat. That process of encirclement and destabilization continued right until World War II. On the eve of World War II, Foreign Minister of the Soviet Union named Litvinov went to, did I pronounce the name correctly? No, I can't say it that way. Went to the Western powers and called for an alliance with England, the United States, and France against Nazi Germany. And that if the Germans attacked Czechoslovakia, they would all join in, or attack Poland, or attack anybody, that all the powers would join in as to fight Hitler and contain him. The Western allies refused those overtures from the Soviet Union. Not because they were appeasers, not because they were simple and naive, quite the contrary, because they had a plan of their own, and that plan was union. And the plan was he give Hitler Czechoslovakia and he go east. And they were waiting for a war, and that war was supposed to come from the Nazi Germany finishing off Bolshevik Russia. Since they sent armies in against Russia just a few years less than a decade before, so they now plan to do the same. And so they've done again and again. And that war was for, and most of it was for a neutral front. 7 out of every 10 German soldiers who died in that war died on the neutral front. The scale of fighting was enormous. The Battle of Kursk, Stalingrad, the Battle of Berlin, nothing like it has happened in the Western theater, on the Western front. The Battle of Berlin, we saw 2 million German soldiers against 3.5 million attacking Soviet soldiers. Lost them, stupendous. But at the end of that war, the Soviet Union emerged as a major power. Very weakened, very much weakened, having lost most of its industry west of the Ural, having lost 20 million people. Most of its transportation, by the way, at that time was still by horse or oxen in most areas, for most of its population. But it still had the Red Army. And yet it was not an army that had any intention of marching through Europe. Well, that was a NATO myth that was cultivated at the time. And there's an interesting sort of document that came out in the American Historical Review, which points out now that in the West, and the Russians never really believed that the Soviets were going to invade Western Europe. But that was a myth that they constantly propagated. They knew that after the Russian war, the last thing the Russian people would ever go for, or the Russian leaders themselves, they would go for was another war. There was no sense, they had no interest in such a war. The war they fought against Germany was defensive, and they wanted to rebuild their country. That was a myth that was constantly propagated. That if we don't stop them, we don't do NATO, if we don't double, triple, quadruple our defense forces, the Russians will be marching under the trio. The point of all of what I've said so far is just to point out to you that the Cold War did not begin in 1947, but it began in 1917. That the Cold War has been going on even before the Russian Revolution, in the sense that the U.S. has constantly, and other Western countries have been constantly suppressing any kind of revolutionary forces. When Ronald Reagan says that we've got to stop the Sandinists, overthrow them because they are an extension labor, the resources, technology, and capital in a different way for social need, communally, for nonprofit, public sector development, rather than for private capital accumulation. This would mean the death of capitalism, of that class with its power and privileges, its life as they love it and hold it and will fight through tooth and nail to defend it. As Mrs. Bush said, we enjoy our wealth. The U.S. empire at the end of World War II replaced Britain. The Brits were eased out of Iran. British oil companies were replaced by American oil companies. British sugar companies in Honduras were eased out by American sugar companies. And America also picked up the tab. America built a bases, an American empire, over 2,000 bases around the world, including about 381. American fleets are on every ocean. American planes fly skies over every country, almost. And so we see enormous investments in the third world, and with that enormous investment since World War II, an enormous growth in poverty. Now that's unusual. That really goes against the accepted ideology, which is that attract investment in people that'll bring prosperity and jobs and all that sort of thing. But when investment is about Haiti, the proliferation of the small Haitian farmers, when investment is brought to Latin America, most other countries, has been displacement of the peasantry, their proletarianization. They're being thrown into shanty towns to suffer poverty wages or chronic underemployment. What investment has brought us with it also is increasing illiteracy, sickness, disease, poverty, and a dislocation and disfranchising. A growing foreign debt, indebtedness, growing investment for cash crops. By the way, that's what the whole Mexican Revolution was about. Was the land going to belong to the Mexicans so they could grow beans and alfalfa and feed their people? Or was the land going to belong to the big sugar companies and let Arturia own it so they could grow sugar to export as a cash crop to make more money, to yet make more money, or coffee or whatever else? And with that growth, with that investment comes a dislocation in the structure of the third world country, so that the whole infrastructure of it is to be built around capital extraction. The economist Ray Brown, when he went to Cuba before the revolution, it was in 1958, he was there about a year or so before, was impressed by how every major road he saw went from the sugar plantation to a refinery to a seaport. Well, there were whole communities without roads. They couldn't get any doctors. They couldn't have schools. Couldn't see streets. The sugar companies had their roads. And when you send foreign aid to those countries, 9 out of 10 of those dollars goes to building the infrastructure to subsidize the capital investment of the private corporation or to pay for the police and the army of that country, not to defend it from foreign invasion, because first they is not going to invade Bolivia, because Taiwan isn't going to be invaded by the Philippines, but they need a big army to defend their rules and their own people, because the people are such a state of miseration. So that's where our foreign aid goes. And as someone once said, foreign aid is when the poor people of a rich country give money to the rich people of a poor country. capitalists come with all of this. And that other development is that revolutionary movements have been emerging all around the world with competing social orders. And so they must be targeted. Now, the United States has given a number of reasons for why, Ronald Reagan has, most vividly recently, for why we must go on military build-up intervention in third world, why we must attack countries like Iraq, why we must oppose guerrilla movements in El Salvador, why we must try to overthrow Afghanistan and Angola, Mozambique, Guinea-Bissau, and various other countries where the forces of social change are taking place. And the reason is freedom of the people there for democracy. We are in Central America to defend democracy. Well, a moment's reflection will raise some serious questions about that process, because it becomes clear that in fact the U.S. government has a record in recent years of overthrowing democracy. In Chile, Salvador Allende, elected in a free, open election, was overthrown. 10,000 people were executed. Tens of thousands of others were driven at the same time. Others have been put in prison. And you have one of the worst fascist dictatorships, all with the support of the United States, which after Allende's election cut off all aid except to the Chilean military. In Guatemala in 1954, the Arbenz government was instituted, and Arbenz legalized all student organizations. Students were very powerful. The first democratically elected president of Guatemala. Arbenz legalized trade unions, operated newspapers, and then he started doing some very famous things. He began to nationalize the unused plans of United Fruit Company. And that's when U.S. corporations and the CIA went in and overthrew Arbenz. And that's a matter of public record. The CIA, the Eisenhower administration, admits that Eisenhower proudly boasted about CIA overthrew Arbenz, because he was a serious leftist influence. And so was Mossadegh in Iran, so was Roland in Brazil, so was Bosch in the Dominican Republic, so was a variety of other democratic leaders, the big 6 or 7 in Latin America, who were overthrown, generally fought in with the aid and assistance of the U.S. government. So it can't be that we're there to talk to democracy, we seem to also make war against democracy. And in addition, we support some of the worst dictators. If Reagan is really hates tyranny, why doesn't he send freedom fighters into Paraguay or Chile or South Africa? Why doesn't he start sabotaging there when you squeeze on them? In fact, the whole fight is different. Might be less of a mystery if you understand that really the worst thing about Colonel Saddam, who is a kind of strange guy in some way. And not as strange as the media has made him out. He has called, and we don't know this, most of you will laugh. He has called repeatedly for negotiations between him and Reagan. Peaceful negotiations for peaceful settlement of all disputes. And the Reagan administration has repeatedly rebuffed those overtures. That isn't putting in effect. I'm not blaming you for not knowing. We're not going to read that rag telling you out there that Colorado thing that said terrorist project existed in Libya. He has done that, and he's done some other things that make him really dangerous. It's not the terrorism. It's not the attack on the Vienna and Berlin airports, for which they have no proof that Libya was involved, and which they have proof that the terrorists came out of Syria. The troublesome thing about the Gaddafi was that when he took over in 1969, he took over a country that was like Saudi Arabia, a country of mass misery. A lot of rich oil went into the pockets of a few rich. And when his turn of revolution took over, they got rid of the rich. Rockefeller gave him $50,000. That's a going waster. As Nelson Rockefeller testified himself before the Senate committee when he was being appointed Vice President of the United States. And they asked, and the senators, well, they really point at Brett Rockefeller really hard. They said, why'd you do that, Mr. Rockefeller? And Rockefeller said, well, giving's always been a tradition in our family. Giving. They cast their bread upon the waters and more came back, didn't it? He was saying to Henry Kissinger, Henry, I brought you out of Harvard. I brought you out of that Center for, or whatever that was, strategic studies, because I like the books you were writing, and you're writing them for me. Henry, you remember you're going to go work for Tricky Dick, but you remember who you belong to. And that's what hungering for power is. It's climbing, like the political climbers and careers have done in every country in the world. And we on the left don't do that. We stand out in the rain. We stand out on the picket line. We put our jobs on the line. We risk our careers. In many cases, we risk our physical safety and our lives in all sorts of countries. If it's power we want, why do we take such a circuitous route? If it's power Senator Garland wants, why is he standing back there? For 70 years, standing like a legion. Well, these communists do all these reform things, yes? And liberal columnist Richard Cohen in the Washington Post said, I think I've heard it about 800 times from different people, we ought to copy what the communists do. Why are we always on the wrong side? Why do we go into these countries and find ourselves on the side of the big man owners, the sweatshop owners, the big corrupt generals, all those little prostitution rackets on the side, and all of them? Why are we with that element? Why don't we capture the hearts and minds of people the way the communists do? Why don't we copy their techniques? What are their techniques? The communist techniques are very well known. Just the things we just said. They go into the village. They do rain reform. They try to bring clean drinking water. They pay for the food they take. They try to help the people organize themselves. That's what they do. But if we did those things, we not only would have So I would argue that Soviet escalations have been mostly reactive and defensive to U.S. escalations. This is true also because the Soviet Navy has, up to very recently, no aircraft carriers for attack any civilian actions. They now have one submarine carrier. The Soviet fleet is almost built almost entirely on tracking the U.S. fleet. See where it goes.
Friggin' yeah. Oh my god, I have to go like this. Hey guys! Wow! What a good time! There's literally nowhere I can stand. Can you see me? Hello. Okay, thanks again for watching on this gloomy Saturday afternoon. I still haven't figured out how to... Hello? No, my beautiful wife is here. Do you want to say hi? I have no idea if anyone's watching.
Hi.
Beautiful Olivia. Hello. Okay, I don't know, how to, make the camera correct, like, sideways style. I don't know. I tried, doing that, like, just putting it out widescreen, and Instagram just, like, cropped it, so, I don't know. I'll just have to change the camera angle, I guess. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Sorry, Shane. I know that you requested that. The chorus on my voice sounds crazy. Okay, it still sounds crazy. I don't care. That's because I'm changing something else. Okay. What just happened? Stop it. Go away. Hello? Hello? Regular? Regular.
Regular. Okay, I don't think I have anything else to say. I'm gonna check my phone. See if anybody's watching. Can anyone? There's probably two.
High pitched. Okay, normal style voice. La 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 la. Sorry if this is annoying. Do do do. Filling time while I open my Instagram. Okay, and one chat. What is gone? No, that's because I mentioned myself. I'm gonna look at the stream now. Wow. Wow. I don't know if this is live right now, but check out my bald spot. Is this? I mean, it's working. I think it's just delayed. Okay. Well, it's so fun to play on your phone live on TV. Okay, I'm gonna end the stream now. Thanks for watching. Bye.